Aboard the Grand Galactic Council ship, the stars stretched out like an endless sea, with vast ships belonging to countless alien species orbiting a distant planet. A meeting of the most powerful beings in the galaxy was underway. The council members were an imposing sight. Towering figures, sleek armor, and otherworldly technology. They represented the mightiest empires of the universe, each with a history of conquest and domination. They ruled with iron fists, controlling star systems and planets with ease. The subject of their discussion, however, was far less impressive in their eyes. It was humanity, an ancient, insignificant species that had long since vanished from galactic history. The humans were once a thriving race, but over the centuries, their warships, their cities, their people had been wiped out by stronger, more advanced alien forces. The galaxy had forgotten them. Earth, their home planet, was nothing but a distant memory. The humans were seen as relics of a forgotten time, their civilization reduced to ancient ruins and myths. Why are we still talking about them? A cold, robotic voice interrupted the meeting. It came from the representative of the I-ruled empire, a race that had eliminated all emotion in favor of cold logic. We wiped them out centuries ago. What threat could they possibly pose now? The leader of the alien species known as the Zithar, a fierce reptilian being, hissed in agreement. A handful of human relics, trapped in their ancient pods. What threat could they possibly present? He sneered. They were weak before. Now, they are nothing. The council chuckled, dismissing humanity as a trivial threat. For them, the humans were no more than an afterthought. They were relics of a past long forgotten, and no one had paid any attention to them for centuries. But what the council didn't know was that humanity's fate was about to take a dramatic turn, one that would shake the very foundation of the galaxy. Meanwhile, in the cold, empty vastness of space, a fleet of ancient human warships drifted silently. Their once proud forms were now battered and scarred, drifting far from their homeworld. These ships had been abandoned long ago, forgotten by time and space. They were relics, as the council had said, their weapons outdated, and their crews lost in the depths of cryo sleep. As the alien fleets neared the human fleet, their sensors detected the ships, but they registered no life signs. The humans, in the council's mind, were long gone, nothing more than lifeless machines floating aimlessly in the void. The alien commanders smirked, thinking they had discovered a long-lost tomb of an ancient species. Little did they know, they were about to awaken a power that would shake them to their core. Then something unexpected happened. The human cryopods, dormant for centuries, began to hum with life. Slowly at first, then louder and louder. The alien fleet's sensors began to pick up strange readings. Unexplained energy sources flickered to life aboard the old warships. Systems that had long been dormant began to stir. The ship's automated systems flickered on, one by one. Lights flashed inside the metal corridors of the ships. Computers began running diagnostics, coming online with mechanical hums. The alien fleet commanders exchanged confused glances. How could this be? These ships had been abandoned, thought destroyed. The humans, trapped in their ancient cryopods, should have been long dead. And then it happened. A sudden sharp burst of energy shot out from the human fleet, spreading across the vast emptiness of space. The electromagnetic pulse, powerful and precise, surged outward, temporarily disabling the alien ship systems. The lights aboard the alien vessels flickered and dimmed. Their weapons powered down. Communications were scrambled. Panic began to ripple through the alien fleets. They could not understand what was happening. How had these relics managed to disrupt their highly advanced technology? One alien commander, an armored figure of indeterminate species, shouted orders to his crew. Get the systems back online. Now. But it was too late. The damage was done. The humans had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same again. On board the lead human warship, Commander Ethan Cross emerged from his cryo chamber, his eyes opening to the cold emptiness of space. The sterile air and the faint hum of the ship's systems were the first things he noticed. He took a deep breath, the stale air filling his lungs, but his mind was already alert. He had no idea what had happened or how much time had passed, but one thing was certain: the humans were awake. The ancient warships were no longer lifeless relics. The old warriors had returned. Commander Cross stepped into the bridge, his expression steely with resolve. The crew was already assembling, their faces a mix of confusion and determination. Cross could feel the weight of history pressing down on him. He had been part of an ancient military, a force built to protect humanity at all costs. But now, with his forces outnumbered and outgunned, his mission was clear: survival. His first command was to assess the situation. As the crew scrambled to run diagnostics, a strange alert flashed on the main console. A single word blinked on the screen in red: awakens. Cross stared at it for a moment before turning to his officers. It wasn't just the ship systems that had come to life. The cryopods had begun to wake up. Suddenly, a second alert came through. The alien fleets were getting closer. The attack was imminent. But the humans weren't helpless. Their warships were old, yes, but they were equipped with cutting-edge technology that the aliens could not have possibly anticipated. "Prepare to engage," Cross barked. "Activate the cloaking systems and bring the fleet online. We won't go down without a fight." With a sudden, powerful surge, the human fleet sprang to life. The cloaking devices activated, and the massive ships vanished from the alien scanners. What had once been thought of as a hopeless, outdated fleet had become a deadly threat once again. The humans had returned to reclaim their place in the galaxy. The alien commanders, still reeling from the disruption of their ship systems, could barely process what was happening. The fleet they had thought was insignificant, a joke, had just disabled their best ships with a single strike. And now, those same humans were preparing to fight back. Cross's voice rang out across the ship. "Get ready, everyone. This is just the beginning. We may be outnumbered, but we have one thing they don't. We have the will to fight." As the alien fleets closed in, the humans were ready. The laughter of the alien council had turned into uncertainty and fear. The tiny army they had so easily dismissed was preparing to strike back. Humanity, long forgotten and thought to be weak, had awoken, and they were not going to let the galaxy forget them. The battle for survival had begun. Commander Ethan Cross stood in the center of the human warship's bridge, his eyes scanning the controls in front of him. The room was dimly lit, only the soft glow of emergency lights illuminating the space. It felt strange, like stepping into a forgotten world. The ship's systems were old, rusted in some places, but still functional. The scent of aged metal and old technology filled the air, a reminder that this fleet had been abandoned for centuries. The human fleet had awoken. The warships, long dormant in the cold void of space, had come back to life after a powerful electromagnetic pulse from the fleet's ancient engines. This was the moment humanity had been waiting for, no longer trapped in the silence of cryo sleep, but now fully awake and ready to fight for their place in the galaxy. Commander Cross's thoughts were interrupted by the hum of the ship's systems coming online. The crew around him were frantically working to make sense of the chaos. They had been asleep for so long, and the galaxy had changed in ways they could not have imagined. The warship's automated systems blinked to life one by one, revealing the true extent of the technology they had at their disposal. Cross could see the look of surprise and awe in his crew's eyes. The systems had activated far beyond what anyone had expected. "Commander, the cloaking devices are online," reported one of the officers, "and the AI-driven combat droids are ready for deployment." Cross nodded. "Activate them. Prepare for battle." The technology aboard the ancient human warships was far more advanced than anything the alien invaders could have anticipated. These ships had been built long before the galaxy had fallen into the hands of technologically superior races. While the other species laughed at the humans, dismissing them as weak. They had no idea what they were about to face. The cloaking devices hummed to life, making the human ships invisible to alien scanners. The AI-driven combat droids, designed to be highly intelligent and battle-ready, powered up and began their preparations for combat. These droids were not like the typical mindless machines the aliens might have encountered before. They were capable of independent thought, capable of strategy and tactics in the heat of battle. As the first wave of droids were deployed, they spread across the ship, preparing for what was to come. Bonner, one of the human soldiers, stood at the back of the bridge, his hand gripping the railing tightly. He had been in Cryo sleep for as long as the others, but the moment he woke up, something hit him harder than the cold of space. He felt an overwhelming emptiness. The Earth he had once known, the family he had once loved, everything was gone. In the centuries since humanity had been put to sleep, the world had been ravaged. There was nothing left for him to return to. But that didn't matter now. The warships were awake. The soldiers were ready. Humanity's fight for survival was about to begin. Bonner clenched his fists, the memory of his lost family fueling his determination. "We may be few," he muttered to himself, "but we're not weak. We're going to fight, not just for survival, but to make our mark. We're going to remind them who we are." He didn't know who they were, the alien invaders who were moving in on them, who had laughed at them. But Bonner didn't need to know. The soldiers aboard these warships were prepared to face anything. "Commander Cross," Bonner spoke up, stepping forward. "How much time until we're in range of the enemy fleet?" "Not long," Cross replied, his voice cold and focused. "But don't worry. We've got the advantage." Bonner didn't know if that was true, but he trusted Cross. If anyone could pull them through this, it was him. The human warships were still greatly outnumbered by the alien forces. The invaders' fleets were massive, and their weapons were advanced, far more powerful than anything humanity had at their disposal. But it didn't matter. The humans had something the aliens didn't. Technology that had been forgotten for centuries. Technology that the aliens couldn't even comprehend. As the alien fleets closed in, the humans prepared for battle. On the bridge, Bonner and the other soldiers stood ready, their eyes fixed on the holographic displays of the enemy fleets advancing toward them. There was no turning back now. The time for hiding was over. Outside, the first signs of conflict began. The alien fleets moved forward with the confidence of conquerors, unaware of the storm they were about to awaken. The human fleet remained cloaked, silently positioning itself for the strike. The moment the enemy ships entered the designated range, the first wave of battle began. "Now," Cross shouted. The cloaking devices deactivated, revealing the human warships in all their glory. They were older, battered, and scarred from centuries of neglect, but they were still deadly. The ships powered up their weapons, and the AI combat droids launched into the fray. The first wave of human missiles streaked through space, finding their targets with incredible precision. The alien fleets, unprepared for such a fierce counterattack, struggled to adapt. The once invincible forces were now forced to fight for their survival. The humans may have been small in number, but their technology was far superior to what the invaders had expected. Bonner stood on the bridge, watching as the human warships unleashed their firepower on the alien fleet. He could see the explosions in space, the bright flashes lighting up the void. For a moment, it felt like a dream where humanity wasn't helpless, where they weren't wiped out by the superior alien forces. But there was no time to rest. The enemy was regrouping, and they were angry. The aliens weren't used to being outmatched. They would retaliate, and they would retaliate hard. The humans had to keep fighting, keep pushing, keep surviving. Bonner's thoughts turned to his family. The memory of their faces flashed before his eyes. It was the reason he fought. For them, for Earth, and for every human who had been lost in this cruel war. "We'll make our mark," Bonner whispered, determination flooding his veins. The battle raged on, and with every passing moment, humanity's survival became more uncertain. But one thing was clear: the humans had awoken, and they were ready to fight. Their struggle had only just begun. The battlefield was chaotic. Explosions lit up the deep void of space as laser fire zipped past. The human warships, once thought to be relics of an ancient and forgotten race, were now fighting with a precision and speed that no one had anticipated. The aliens, in their vast, powerful fleets, had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. The small human force, outnumbered and outgunned, had a secret weapon: their advanced tactics. Commander Ethan Cross had spent decades studying the galaxy's vast military strategies before entering Cryo sleep. He knew the best way to fight when you were at a disadvantage: guerrilla warfare. Small, fast strikes that would confuse and overwhelm the enemy. He had no intention of engaging the alien fleet head-on. Instead, he used the cover of darkness, the speed of their ships, and their superior technology to outsmart their larger opponents. The first strike came swiftly. The human warships, hidden under their cloaking devices, appeared out of nowhere, launching a deadly volley of missiles at an unsuspecting alien vessel. The alien ship, which had been confident in its superiority, never saw it coming. The human missiles tore through the alien vessel's hull, sending debris scattering into space. The shockwaves from the explosion rippled through the battlefield, momentarily stunning the alien forces. The aliens scrambled to respond, sending in reinforcements to protect their fleet. But the humans didn't wait. They were already moving, using their cloaking devices to disappear from sight before reappearing in different areas of the battlefield. With pinpoint precision, they targeted weak spots in the alien ships, focusing their fire on energy systems, propulsion units, and weapons bays. Inside the human warships, the crew was calm but determined. Every movement was calculated, every action planned. The soldiers moved with a silent precision, their hearts pounding in their chests as they engaged the alien forces. Bonner, one of the human soldiers, had always been known for his quick thinking. He had spent years training for moments like this, and now, as the warship hurtled through the battlefield, he was putting everything he had learned to the test. He held onto the railing as the warship zoomed past an alien cruiser, narrowly avoiding incoming fire. His pulse raced, but his mind was focused. The cloaking device had allowed them to get in close without being detected, but it wouldn't last forever. He had to make every second count. "Take them down," Bonner shouted, his voice filled with urgency. The soldiers around him responded, rushing to their positions, preparing to board the alien stronghold. They would use their cloaking technology to infiltrate the alien ship and take out its core from the inside. The mission was simple: disable the alien vessel and escape before reinforcements arrived. But simple didn't mean easy. The human soldiers emerged from their cloaked positions, guns blazing as they fought their way through the alien stronghold. The alien warriors, much larger and stronger than humans, were initially stunned by the small human force attacking them, but their surprise quickly turned to rage. They fought back fiercely, but the humans, with their advanced tactics and technology, were relentless. Explosions erupted as grenades detonated in the enemy's hallways, sending debris flying. The battle moved quickly from one corridor to another, soldiers ducking behind cover, firing at the alien soldiers, and then moving on before they could be caught. The humans had the advantage of speed and precision, striking where the aliens least expected it. Outside, the human ships continued to rain destruction down on the alien vessels, using their superior maneuverability to outsmart the larger ships. Each missile launched, each laser blast fired, was a calculated move in the grand game of warfare. The humans had mastered the art of war, and now they were showing the galaxy just how deadly they could be. However, just when it seemed like the humans had secured a victory, a new threat emerged. From the shadows of the battlefield, a new fleet appeared. This one was much larger, much more powerful. The humans had triggered something, a trap set by the aliens to lure them into a false sense of security. The new alien armada emerged from the edges of the battle, massive ships bristling with weapons. The humans had thought they were winning, but now they were facing an overwhelming force. Their cloaking devices wouldn't be able to save them from the sheer size and power of this new armada. The once quiet battlefield erupted into chaos as the humans realized the scale of the threat they had unknowingly unleashed. "Commander, we got a problem," Bonner said, his voice tense. He had seen the new fleet, and it was unlike anything the humans had faced before. The ships were massive, towering over the human warships. Each one was armed to the teeth with energy weapons and missile launchers, far beyond the technology the humans had at their disposal. Cross looked out from the bridge, his eyes narrowing as the alien ships advanced. He knew they had just run into a serious problem. They had anticipated some resistance, but this was more than they had bargained for. "All ships, retreat to the designated rally point. We need to regroup." The order was given, and the human fleet immediately began to retreat, but the alien ships were quick to respond. Their advanced weapons opened fire, blasting away at the human ships as they attempted to escape. The humans fought back with everything they had, launching missiles and firing lasers, but it was clear that the odds were now stacked against them. Bonner's heart raced as the explosions shook the ship. They had barely survived the first wave, and now they were facing an even greater danger. The retreat wasn't going as planned. The alien fleet was closing in fast, and if they didn't find a way out soon, the battle would be over before it had truly begun. "Commander Cross, what's our next move?" Bonner asked, his voice urgent. Cross stood at the center of the bridge, his mind racing. He knew the humans had been underestimated by the aliens, but this new armada was a serious threat. They couldn't run forever. If they were going to survive, they had to fight back, no matter the cost. "We hold them off," Cross said, determination in his voice. "We've come this far, and we're not going down without a fight." With that, the human warships turned back toward the alien fleet, weapons blazing. It was a suicide mission, but it was their only option. The humans had awakened from their cryo sleep for a reason. They weren't going to let an alien armada wipe them out without making their mark on the galaxy. As the two fleets clashed in the cold expanse of space, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The humans had faced overwhelming odds before, but this time, they were fighting for more than just survival. They were fighting for their place in the galaxy. The cold vacuum of space had turned into a battlefield, filled with flashes of light and booming explosions. Humanity's small fleet, outnumbered and outgunned by a much larger alien armada, was caught in a desperate struggle for survival. Each human warship maneuvered with sharp, calculated precision, firing at the alien invaders who had underestimated them. The humans were well aware that their odds were slim, but their resolve was unbreakable. They would fight for humanity's future, no matter the cost. In the heart of this battle, Commander Ethan Cross stood firm, his mind racing with strategies as his fingers worked furiously on the ship's command console. The sound of sirens blared throughout the ship, signaling another wave of incoming fire. His eyes never left the screen as he observed the enemy fleet, watching their every move, calculating their next strike. The humans had made their stand, using every advantage they could, from their superior cloaking technology to their swift, agile ships. But it wasn't enough. The sheer size of the alien forces seemed overwhelming. Alien warships with energy weapons and missiles the size of buildings tore through the human defenses, leaving nothing but debris in their wake. Yet the humans refused to yield. "We can't hold them off forever," Cross muttered under his breath. He glanced at his crew, his team, each person a symbol of humanity's resilience. "We need to fall back now." The order to retreat was given, and every human ship immediately began to shift course. The crew members scrambled to their positions, preparing for a tactical withdrawal. But as the humans pulled away from the battle, it became clear they weren't retreating at all. They were leading the enemy into a much deadlier trap. It was a tactic Cross had planned meticulously, one that had been in the back of his mind ever since they had first encountered the alien forces. The humans didn't have the firepower to match the aliens head-on, But they had something the aliens didn't expect: knowledge of their weaknesses. As the alien fleet followed the retreating humans into the heart of an asteroid field, they were unknowingly moving into a lethal gauntlet. The humans' small fleet led the aliens deeper into the treacherous asteroid field, the narrow pathways and heavy debris providing perfect cover. As the alien ships grew closer, the humans activated hidden traps that had been carefully placed along the field. Mines, electromagnetic pulses, and stealthy missiles launched from the depths of the asteroid belt, exploding in waves that shook the battlefield. It was a dance of destruction, humans fighting in the shadows, forcing the aliens to chase them deeper into a deadly trap of their own making. But the battle was far from over. The humans knew that they couldn't keep up the ruse for long. Their ships were taking heavy damage, and the time to reveal their last-ditch weapon was fast approaching. They needed a diversion, something big enough to give them the opening they needed. As the humans continued their struggle, a figure on the ground was making a sacrifice that would change everything. Bonner, one of the most skilled soldiers, had always been willing to do whatever it took to protect his team. He had lost everything: his family, his home, his planet. But none of that mattered now. What mattered was the mission. What mattered was humanity's survival. Bonner had spent years preparing for this moment, training his body and mind for the brutal realities of war. Now, as the alien fleet closed in and the humans' resources dwindled, he made a choice that would cost him his life. "Commander," Bonner said over the comms, his voice calm despite the chaos around him, "I'll hold them off. You and the others need to get to safety." Cross felt a pang of sorrow in his chest. He had known Bonner for years, and the soldier's selflessness was both a blessing and a burden. But there was no time to argue. Bonner's plan was simple. He would make himself the target, draw the aliens' attention long enough for the rest of the team to escape. "You don't have to do this," Cross replied, his voice tight. "There's another way." Bonner didn't hesitate. "It's the only way, sir. You know it." With those final words, Bonner set his course, flying directly into the heart of the alien fleet. The alien ships, focused on the human fleet's retreat, didn't expect one of the human warships to turn around and charge straight at them. It was a suicidal move, but it would buy his comrades the time they desperately needed. Bonner's ship slammed into the midst of the alien fleet, unleashing a barrage of missiles and energy blasts as it collided with an enemy cruiser. The ship's self-destruct mechanism was triggered, and in the blink of an eye, the human ship exploded, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. The alien forces were momentarily stunned. For a brief, painful moment, the humans' gambit had worked. But the price was high. Bonner's sacrifice gave the others the chance to retreat further, but it also left a deep wound in the hearts of those who survived. As Bonner's death echoed through the minds of his comrades, a wave of determination washed over them. The humans may have been outnumbered and outgunned, but they were not without strength. The memory of Bonner's sacrifice would fuel their fight for the rest of the war. Meanwhile, a hidden weapon, long thought to be a myth, was about to come to the forefront. As the humans retreated, they activated their final trump card, a device capable of disabling the alien fleet's eye-driven ships. This ancient weapon, buried deep within the human warships, was humanity's secret weapon, a last-ditch effort to level the playing field. The weapon powered up, its energy coursing through the ship. The humans watched as the system came online, their hearts racing with anticipation. If this device worked, it would give them a fighting chance. If it failed, they would be destroyed. With a final command from Cross, the weapon was activated, sending out a powerful pulse that rippled through the alien fleet systems. One by one, the eye-controlled ships began to shut down, their systems going dark as the pulse coursed through them. The aliens were caught off guard. They had relied too heavily on their advanced technology, assuming that it would guarantee them victory. The humans, now freed from the eye-controlled forces, seized the moment, launching a counterattack with renewed vigor. Their smaller fleet, now with the advantage of disabling the alien eye, began to fight back with a fury that no one had expected. It was a battle unlike any other, one where the humans were no longer the underdogs, but the ones in control. As the fight raged on, Commander Cross stood at the helm of his ship, watching as the tide of battle began to turn. Bonner's sacrifice had given them the opening they needed, and now it was up to the humans to finish what they had started. They had awakened from their cryo sleep for a reason. They were here to stay. The human fleet continued to fight, pushing back against the overwhelming alien forces. And though the battle was far from over, the humans knew one thing for certain. They would never stop fighting. Bonner's death had been the spark that ignited their fury. They had become a force that the galaxy would never forget. The battle for humanity's survival had reached a critical point. The fate of the human race, once thought to be insignificant in the grand expanse of the galaxy, hung in the balance. Yet, despite overwhelming odds, humanity had fought back with all the strength and ingenuity they could muster. Now, the moment they had been waiting for had arrived. Their secret weapon was ready. The humans had activated the ancient device, a weapon buried deep within their warships, and the results were immediate. It sent a powerful electromagnetic pulse into the heart of the alien fleet, crippling their eye-controlled ships. At first, the aliens seemed unsure of what had happened, as several of their advanced ships suddenly stopped functioning, their systems flickering and dying. Others, left vulnerable without their guiding intelligence, went rogue. They veered off course, crashing into each other in a chaotic display of confusion. In the midst of this madness, the humans saw their opportunity. Commander Cross, standing firm at the helm of his ship, knew that this was their chance to turn the tables. He ordered his fleet to launch a full counterattack, unleashing the full force of their technological advantage. The battle had shifted from a desperate retreat to a full-scale assault, and the humans were now on the offensive. Human droids, once thought of as mere tools for defense, were now unleashed with devastating efficiency. Eye-controlled ships, capable of precision strikes and advanced maneuvers, tore through the enemy ranks. The aliens, still recovering from the surprise of the human weapon, struggled to regain control. It was too late. The humans had taken the upper hand. The visual spectacle of the space battle was nothing short of breathtaking. Alien ships, once imposing symbols of superiority, were now torn apart in stunning detail. The sky above the battlefield lit up with flashes of energy as orbital bombardments rained down, obliterating the alien warships. Explosions filled the void of space, sending shockwaves through the enemy lines. Human ships, with their cloaking technology and superior maneuverability, zipped through the chaos, launching missiles and energy blasts with precision. Every shot counted. Every move was calculated, and the human fleet cut through the alien forces with ruthless efficiency. On the ground, the battle raged on as well. Soldiers in armored suits fought tirelessly to hold their positions, taking down alien invaders in close-quarters combat. There was no time for hesitation, no room for fear. The humans fought with raw determination, each step bringing them closer to victory. The aliens had underestimated them, mocked them, and now they were paying the price. Amidst the carnage, Bonner's sacrifice loomed large in the minds of the soldiers. His selflessness had given them the opportunity to turn the tide, and now his comrades were determined to make that sacrifice count. Every enemy soldier they took down, every alien ship they destroyed, was a testament to the strength and resilience of humanity. As the humans continued their counterstrike, they pushed the alien forces back, driving them away from their homeworld and making it clear that humanity was not a force to be trifled with. The once feared alien fleet was now in disarray, and the humans, despite their smaller numbers, had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with. However, even as the humans tasted victory, there was a sense of somber realization that came with it. The battle had come at a great cost. Lives had been lost, and the remnants of humanity were still far from secure. The damage to the alien fleet had been substantial, but the threat was far from over. The Alien Council would not take this defeat lightly, and they would surely send reinforcements to avenge their losses. Yet, despite the looming threat of more battles to come, the humans had sent a powerful message. They had proven that they were no longer weak, no longer insignificant. They had taken on the most advanced empire in the galaxy and emerged victorious, at least for now. The alien forces had underestimated humanity, and they had paid the price for it. The human race had been pushed to the brink, but it had fought back with everything it had. And in the end, it had proven its worth. For Commander Cross and the soldiers under his command, the battle was far from over. There would be more fighting ahead, more challenges to face, but they were no longer the underdogs. They had shown the galaxy that humanity had the strength, the will, and the power to survive, and to win. As the dust settled and the battlefield fell silent, the survivors took a moment to reflect on what they had accomplished. Their victory was hard-earned, and the sacrifices made along the way would never be forgotten. Bonner's final words echoed in their minds. "We will never stop fighting." Those words had become their rallying cry, and they would carry them into whatever came next. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. The humans had turned the tables, and now they stood tall, ready to face whatever the future had in store. The galaxy had been put on notice. Humanity would no longer be ignored. They were here to stay. The final battle had arrived. For weeks, humanity had fought against impossible odds, driving back the alien invaders and slowly reclaiming their place in the galaxy. Now, the ultimate challenge stood before them. The Alien Council's flagship, the symbol of their power and oppression, loomed in the distance. It was the heart of the enemy's military might, a towering fortress in space, and the last obstacle standing between humanity and complete victory. The atmosphere was tense as the human fleet gathered in the final moments before the clash. Commander Ethan Cross stood at the helm of his ship, his mind sharp and focused. His crew was ready, but the weight of the situation hung heavy on all of them. This would be their last stand, one final, desperate push to secure the future of humanity. The alien fleet, much larger and more advanced, had sent their flagship to crush them once and for all. But the humans had something the aliens never expected: their resolve, their courage, and their secret weapon. The battle began with a deafening roar of missiles and laser fire. The humans' smaller, yet more nimble ships darted around the alien forces, their cloaking devices keeping them hidden from the enemy's sight. They had learned from the previous encounters, and now they were ready to use everything they had. Every ship, every soldier, and every weapon they had was about to be unleashed in a desperate bid for survival. The alien flagship loomed large in front of them, a massive structure with weapons that could destroy entire fleets in a single shot. It was a machine of death, and it commanded the alien forces with terrifying efficiency. But the humans were undeterred. With tactical genius and a fierce desire to survive, they launched a full-scale assault, pushing their way toward the flagship with everything they had. As the battle raged on, the visuals were nothing short of breathtaking. The void of space was filled with explosions, each one lighting up the dark sky in a brilliant display of destruction. Alien ships exploded in a cascade of sparks, their hulking forms breaking apart as the human fleet pushed forward. Missiles streaked through the air, finding their targets with deadly accuracy. The human ships darted and weaved, evading enemy fire while launching their own with precise strikes. The air was thick with the tension of life and death, each moment teetering on the edge of chaos. On the ground, the battle took an even more intense turn. Human soldiers stormed the alien flagship, engaging in brutal hand-to-hand combat with alien warriors. The alien soldiers, towering and fearsome, were a terrifying sight, but the humans fought back with unmatched ferocity. They knew this was it, the final showdown, where only one side would emerge victorious. The clang of weapons and the roar of battle filled the corridors of the flagship as soldiers fought tooth and nail for every inch of ground. But just when it seemed that the humans might be overwhelmed, Commander Cross made the ultimate decision. He knew that if they were to survive, they had to disable the flagship's AI systems. The alien flagship was a marvel of advanced technology, but it was still reliant on its AI to function. If they could disrupt that, they could turn the tide of the battle. Cross made the call to activate the ancient weapon, the one that had been their trump card all along. The weapon, buried deep within their ship, was a relic from humanity's past, designed to disable advanced AI systems with a powerful pulse. Cross pressed the button, and a surge of energy shot through the fleet. The alien flagship's systems began to flicker and fail. The AI that controlled the ship's weapons and tactics was wiped out in an instant. The once unstoppable flagship was now a vulnerable, defenseless giant in the vastness of space. The humans seized their opportunity. With the flagship's systems disabled, the human fleet moved in for the kill. Their ships, still functioning at full capacity, launched everything they had at the alien ship. Explosions rocked the alien flagship, and it began to break apart, its once pristine structure now torn to shreds. The humans pressed on, their determination unwavering. With their final, all-out assault, they took down the alien flagship, sending it spiraling into destruction. But even with the flagship's destruction, the battle was far from over. The remaining alien forces, disoriented and disorganized, scrambled to regroup. Some ships tried to retreat, but others, still under the control of rogue allies, continued to fight on in a futile attempt to salvage something from the chaos. Yet it was too late. The humans had already won. Their relentless counterattack had shattered the alien fleet, and the once mighty invaders were now retreating in fear. As the smoke cleared and the final remnants of the alien fleet drifted away into the void, Commander Cross stood at the helm of his ship, watching the aftermath of the battle. The humans had done the impossible. They had taken on the most advanced empire in the galaxy and emerged victorious. They were no longer the underdogs. They had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with. But the victory came at a great cost. Many brave soldiers had fallen in the fight. Bonner's sacrifice had weighed heavily on Cross's mind throughout the battle. His final words, "We will never stop fighting," had been a guiding light for the humans. They had fought for their survival, for their families, and for their place in the galaxy. Now, they had secured their future. Commander Cross took a deep breath and activated the communication system, broadcasting a final message to the galaxy. His voice was steady, but there was a sense of triumph in his words. "We are back," he said, "and we will not fall again." His message was simple, but it carried the weight of everything they had accomplished. The humans had won, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the days that followed, the galaxy watched in awe as the humans' victory spread across the stars. The once mighty alien council, humbled and broken, had no choice but to retreat. The humans had shown the galaxy that they were not to be underestimated. They had overcome impossible odds, and now they were a force to be reckoned with. For Commander Cross and the soldiers under his command, the fight was over, for now. But they knew that the galaxy was a vast and unpredictable place. There would always be challenges ahead, always new threats to face. But now, they were ready. They had proven that they could take on anything and emerge victorious. And no matter what came next, the humans would stand united, stronger than ever before. Humanity's victory was complete. They had shown the galaxy that they would never be crushed, never be silenced, and never be forgotten. The tiny army that the aliens had mocked had become the galaxy's greatest force, and the rest of the universe would now learn the lesson that humanity had just taught them. Never underestimate the strength of the human spirit. The final stand was over, but humanity's legacy was just beginning.